and it costs thousands of dollars to have it done. But today we're going to show you how to do it for just pennies. Stay tuned.
We're just having a good time on the show today,
as we should, and we hope you are as well.
If you hired someone to add a faux finish in your living room or dining room, it could add up to thousands of dollars. But you know, there's a way to get around that budget problem. You just do it yourself.
I love saving money. Here to show you how easy the process can be is home interior designer Diane Johnson. Now, she recently put this kind of project in motion at the Victorian home that she's restoring down in Waxahachie, and here's how it shaped up.
Today we're in the dining room of this old wonderful house that I'm working on, and I'm going to be faux finishing the wall. This is a product called Faux glazing liquid. Based on what your colors are that you're working with, you'll want to use as many colors as possible. In this particular case, I'm using 3 colors. I have the gold that we have on the wall, which is here already on the wall, but we're going to use it as a top glaze also. I've picked up olive tones and a nice red. I'm going to start out with the red today. I'm going to mix equal parts of my red paint, which is just a latex paint, and the glazing, and equal parts of water. The more glaze you mix into the paint, the more transparent the paint becomes. So actually that's up to you. And the best thing to do is to test all of your colors and all of your paints and the thickness of your paints on a piece of plywood or sheetrock or even an old piece of cardboard so that you can test the colors and make sure the colors and the consistency are just right. Paper plates or styrofoam plates are the best thing to use. Pour your paint into it. Use a nice natural sponge. Now there are a lot of different ways to do a faux finish. It doesn't just have to be with a sponge. It's just that I have chosen to do it this way. But you can also use newspaper, plastic bags, any number of things that you can use. A lot of different kinds of finishes are going to be acquired by the amount of paint that you put on the wall and also the way that you mash in on the sponge. But remember, you're using latex paint, so this process would cost you a lot of money if you were having it done. But because it's latex paint, if you make mistakes, you can just go back over it and paint it. Don't worry about it. And eventually you'll get exactly the product that you want for just the price of a few quarts of paint. It takes very little paint, actually, because the paint goes a long way. By the time you add the glazing and the water, you really don't have to have very much paint. So it really is a very inexpensive home project. Dries very quickly. The next thing you'll want to do after that color dries is move into your next color. In my case, it's green. Use a new sponge or wash it out, and you'll do the same thing again. Go over the red with the green. Just splattering. And if you get too much, don't worry about it. You can always go back and work on it. No problem. You can go back and lighten it up. You can wash it off. You can add your other colors to balance it out. Make sure you have your woodwork protected because you will make a mess. In order to get into these tight corners, you have to squeeze your sponge. So you want to make sure that you tape off all of your woodwork so that you don't have to worry about that. After you have your green on and let it dry, it only takes just a few minutes, but you'll move on to the next color. Really what you should do is about a 4-foot section at a time, because if you try to do much more than that, you're going to end up with unbalanced color. We're going to go back now with the original color of the wall. And what this is going to do, where you've got this mottled kind of a color here with the greens and the reds kind of all mottled together, we're going to come back with the wall color. And it lightens it back up again. Now there again, if you get too much, you can also just put your sponge down in water and go back over it with just plain water, and that'll diffuse the color. Now I might need to do that a little bit right there, so I'll just dip my sponge down in some water and come back up and work on it a little bit, get that balanced right back out. It's a really easy thing to do, and like I said, you really can't make mistakes because if you practice on something first, you'll know exactly what you want to do, and you can always do a little bit more to make it right. Once you've got that final coat on, the next thing you want to do, picked up the wrong one, the next thing you want to do is do a little bit of glazing. In this case, what I've done is I've taken just a little bit of paint with a whole lot of water and made it just almost totally liquefied. You dip it down in there and squeeze it out real good. Makes kind of a mess, but you just squeeze it out real good. It's just water. Then you glaze over the top. What that does is it mutes all those colors together, kind of gives it a little bit of a warmer, richer texture, and it kills out that strong, light gold color and mutes it all down and makes all those colors mingle together. Our final coating is polyurethane, and I use latex. The reason for that is so that we can correct any mistakes, go back over it with another coat of paint if we need to. The more you put on, the better the glaze looks. Now let's see what our finished product looks like. Here we are with a finished project. Look at this. Rich, deep colors. After 24 hours of drying, this polyurethane looks great, doesn't it? And look what we have down here. Textured paper, stained to look like leather. Next time, that's what we're going to work on. So you make sure you check back with us. We'd love to have you join us.